Alright, so here's the question I get the most about my van, and that is what kind of tires I'm using, or if I'm using studded winter tires. And the answer to that is no. I ended up choosing studless winter tires. These are Nokian Hakkapalitta CR3 studless, and Hakkapalitta CR3 studless winter tires, and they've served me incredibly well. Keep in mind, these are not off-road or all-terrain tires. These are made of a completely different kind of rubber, so they have a really good grip on all winter surfaces. Of course, if you have ice with water on top, it's gonna be very, very difficult with these tires as well. Then your only choice is to have studs. But these have been perfect for me. I'm usually in such cold environments that doesn't get wet on top of the ice, but it does happen. Then I usually choose to be very careful and maybe not drive at all. Some crazy ice build-up here. I might have to get my rubber club out before I leave. So that's my tires, and you know, getting a lot of questions about the van in general, and I didn't build it, but I've modified like the battery and the power section, and I've added all these things that are thermal insulation and the exterior lights and all of that stuff. So it's Fiat Ducato 2021 model, and then it's built by Sunlight, and Sunlight makes these vans here. It's called Cliff 600 2021 model, and it's got quite insignificant diesel engine. I think it's 120 horsepower, and it's a 2.3 liter engine, diesel. It's front-wheel drive, not all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive or anything, and that's fine with me. I haven't had any problems with not having four-wheel drive. It's basically what you make of it. If you have four-wheel drive, you might take more chances. You might get stuck anyway. In slippery conditions, four-wheel drive with the wrong tires will lose the grip faster than front-wheel drive with the right tires. And that's something you should be aware of. When you lose the grip on ice, you lose the grip. And it doesn't matter if you have four-wheel drive or front-wheel drive. But this is front-wheel drive, works fine with me. Been driving in snow and ice for many years, so a little bit of experience I might say that I have as well. Well, cleared up for a second. Now we're back again. My heating is Truma Combi 4. It's running on propane. I have a space for two 10-kilo bottles of propane, and propane in Norway is mostly 95% propane, so it can handle cold really well, and it's really efficient. Doesn't use any electricity on my battery when I start it up. When I say nothing, I mean like a very small amount. So you don't use electricity with this heater, not any significant electricity. And these propane bottles, the 2 10-kilo bottles, are in an external compartment, and they have huge vents going outside, so if there's a leak or anything, it's gonna leak outside from the bottles. Now, a lot of people ask about those propane heaters. This is not like propane heaters like the, I don't know what's called, buddy something, where you have your exhaust inside. This heater, the Truma Combi 4, has an external exhaust, and that's here. And this is where all the moisture goes, and also the dangerous fumes. It goes straight out here. Yeah, that's the ice buildup I get here from that exhaust. So no dangerous fumes inside. There's also like a security thing on the window here, so that if I open this window, it stops the heater. Now the heater sits right inside here. Here's the shore power hookup. Never used that. 2-3 nights during winter. And here's my cassette toilet. It's behind here. And for me that works very good. And it never freezes. Like there's been a little bit of ice in it, like on occasion. I use a little bit of antifreeze in the toilet when it gets extremely cold. Yeah, so here's my studless Nokian Hakkapalitta. So yeah, continue to the back side here. So basically, oh, it's rough here now. So basically, the back side here of any of these Fiat Ducatos with these kinds of doors, and this also goes for Ram Promasters. The big problem when it's cold is that it really... Oh, come on. Let's get in shelter here. Yeah, that's better. So the big problem with these back doors is that they're not very well insulated around the frame or anything. So when it's cold, there's a lot of cold coming in this way, and that's why I have a thermal insulation cover in the back door that you might have seen when I changed the propane bottles and stuff like that. And that's made by Hinderman, German company, I think. And that helps a lot to keep things much more comfortable in the bedroom area. And well, it's picking up again now. Yeah, picking up a lot. So, and you also have, this is where I have water in summer. And as I've said before, I don't have water at all in the van in winter, because when it gets to -20, everything freezes. And you know, the pipes are along floors and walls and stuff, and you cannot prevent that from freezing unless you make a system that just uses a lot of electricity. I'm not doing stuff like that. I'm just leaving water out of the equation there, so I don't get any errors with that. Fun day. What else is there to say about the exterior? Yes, I have solar panels on the roof. I think it's 120 watts. 180 I think it is. And those don't work in winter at all. They're kind of only for summer use. They start charging the batteries in April, something like that. If you watched my winter prep video, you've seen that I have you've probably seen that I have 2 lithium batteries, 2 Scanbat 180 amp hour lithium batteries, and that's at 12 volts, so I have 360 amp hours. And these batteries have built-in heating, so they'll heat up the battery is using the alternator to charge, and that's how I charge my batteries most of the time. It's via the alternator. This whole van is set up with like a shout electro block, so I think that handles it. I'm not sure about these things, to be honest. I have a small inverter. It's only 600 watts. That's perfect for me, using it from my computer and charging stuff and smaller stuff. And that doesn't pull any power, basically. It has a little bit, but it's not even showing up. Oh. So the gimbal froze on this camera now. I guess I just have to film this direction. And whew, it's not easy to talk when it's like this. All right, and I bring my EcoFlow Delta 2 charger power bank for charging my Starlink. Basically, it keeps my Starlink running. That's the main purpose of that. So my Starlink is mounted on the roof now permanently, and it uses very little power, like 11 to 15 watts when I charge it via the Delta 2 charger, which is using a 100 watt USB-C output. Yeah, so that's some of the stuff for the external things of my van. Cooking is also done via a propane stove, so that uses the same as the heating. I got 84,000 kilometers on the van now. And it's rough out here. So for my entertainment system and mapping, I now have a Pioneer floating screen with Apple CarPlay wireless, and I think it's a 9-inch screen. I changed that this summer. Really cool little thing to have here. For my exterior lights, I have the switches here. That switches on my exterior lights. In the sitting area, I have swivel chairs. This one is also a swivel chair, but I usually store my skis and some food over here, so I don't really swivel those chairs that much. My batteries that I mentioned, 2 lithium batteries, 2 Scanbat 180 amp hour lithium batteries, and that's at 12 volts, so I have 360 amp hours. You can see them under here. There are two of them under my passenger seat, so it's 360 amp hours. Small inverter here, 600 watts. It doesn't take much power. Then I have the solar charger controller. That's not working in winter because there's no sun. And I got my EcoFlow here that I usually power the Starlink from. And some storage for my computer gear here. And all the way back here I have installed an extra 12 volt outlet that will run from the starter battery. Here are the controls for my van. Got my temperature sensors here, the outside, and it measures the inside as well. And this is the control panel for my heater, the Truma Combi 4. And the Truma Combi 4 can be used on electrical as well, but I rarely do that. And there's a boiler, 10-liter boiler. You can heat water in summer. I don't have water now since it's winter. Here's the temperature basically. And then the old control panel doesn't really work too well with the lithium batteries. You see, lithium batteries usually stay at a higher voltage until it's empty basically, so it won't be accurate here. But here's the measuring for the water. I think it's 90-liter water tanks and gray water tank. You can turn on and off all the power, and if you use shore power, it'll show here. And this is all connected to a Shout electro block. I don't know much about those electro blocks, but it's got all the distribution of power and all the fuses and everything. Up here there's a storage compartment that I use for my camera gear mostly, and for my drone and all of that. I've added a little bit of foam here. I have a larger sunroof up here in front, and I try to cover that and insulate it a little bit more in winter. There's the blind and mosquito net if you want to do that. Over here is the passenger window. That's also got like a little bit of thermal insulation and the mosquito net, and it's got a safety mechanism for the heater because the exhaust is right under here. So if you open the window, it'll close down the heater. In my sitting room here, I have like the 2-bench seat here. I have a TV, or it's actually a computer screen. You can pull that out into the area here. And my table for my sitting area can be opened up like this if you want to sit over here or in this seat here, and you can swivel it all the way around. Over here it's my fridge. It runs on batteries, electricity only. I think it's made by Thetford. Yes, it's Thetford fridge and cooler. So got a freezer here and the fridge itself. Passenger side window, same thing. Got a blind with some thermal on the back side and mosquito net. And then you got the stove, the burner. It's a 2-burner stove, and it's got the sink. Oh, that's dirty, sorry about that. I keep this kind of, because of the coffee grounds and stuff, I just keep a little bowl in here to take the worst of it. So yeah, the faucet and the tap, all of that closes down like this. So that's a propane burner. And there's a little bit of storage behind here with this net, and there's some stuff here. You can hang stuff. I've added this lately. And then you get into the sleeping area, and this is how I've made the sleeping area. It's, you see my thermal insulation cover in the back there. That kind of covers the windows now in winter. So I add a lot of pillows, and my main way of staying warm is my really nice alpaca wool blanket here from Yellowstone. I love that. Now there's these lights here. You can move them around, and same here. Got another window in the back with a thermal curtain and mosquito curtain. The bed can be taken apart and kind of opened up so that you can have a walk-through space here or store a bike or something like that. But I like to have the bed permanently down because it's my happy place, and I kind of curl up in here when I want to rest or just chill. Under here, so this is the kind of the garage storage area. back in here. That's where I keep all my stuff that I normally don't use day to day, or outside stuff, or skiing gear, extra clothing, extra food, and there's an extra heating vent here, so this area is always very warm, which is cool because it warms up the bed overhead. You can remove this, this one can be removed, so you have an opening through here. Here's the heating for the gray water tank. Never use that because I don't have water in here at all, and there's a few outlets for when you're connected to shore power. Here's the control panel for the Thetford fridge, which is conveniently located. And then behind my jackets here are 2 USB outlets. I've added a lot of like hooks around here, and here are a few like pre-installed hooks, and I've added a bunch of hooks here by the entrance as well. Bathroom in here, a lot of baby wipes, all my dental gear, soaps, storage, a lot of towels in here, and you know, all the usual stuff, drying socks, and got the Thetford cassette toilet here. You saw the cassette on the outside. It's flushing in summer when I have water in here, but in winter I just flush it with water from here. So it's got the faucet and the tap and shower head that can be mounted up here. So that works really well in summer. Don't use that in winter. There's a heating outlet here. And this sunroof I cover in winter. That's it for the bathroom. I do shower in here in summer a lot. Can't see anything. Of course, storage. There's under the bed, and then there's the big cupboard here. It's got my winter clothes, gloves and stuff in there. Then there's a cupboard, large one above the kitchen area. And then there's 4 of these medium-sized ones in the back where I keep clothing mostly. I bring a lot of clothes in winter, and then the stuff that I'm constantly using is just in the back of the bed here. And then sunroof back here, 100% covered now with this thing here. And my little garden here, my garden of plastic flowers. And lights here, and light bar like this under here. The floor, it's got this kind of look to it. There's lights here. They're not working now. I think they're connected with the same fuse as my outdoor step, and I pull that fuse for winter because I don't want that to get destroyed like last year. Last thing, I think, the heater on the inside here. My Truma Combi 4 heater running on the propane. It's under the seat here, and that's how that looks. Got the ducts going all the way around the van. Basically, there are outlets everywhere. So, a bunch of those. So that's my heater, Truma Combi 4. Been very happy with that. And it's got a huge exhaust going to the outside. A few extra things in here as well. So it's a safety valve for the Truma heater, for the water, and there's the fuses for if you use shore power. A few on and off switches for the propane. Oh, last thing, storage space here. You can hang stuff up there. and there's emergency like gas, propane, CO2 measurement thing there. So that's the Blizzard van tour. I'm sorry it's not as clean as it should have been here today, but been a lot to deal with that is not cleaning related lately. So with this weather and everything, it's just no time for a vacuum cleaning, to be honest, because then I have to open the door and it's just, that's no good.